Hey friends, it's Alex from Vulture Culture, and today we're going to be reviewing the KORG PROLOGUE 16 voice analog synthesizer. I'm so excited to try this out. I'm not going to waste any of your time. Let's get to how these oscillators sound. So the PROLOGUE has 3 oscillators per voice. That's 2 true analog voltage-controlled oscillators and 1 digital oscillator for a total of 48 oscillators that can be playing at one time on this bad boy, or 32 VCOs. That's more than any sequential synth on the market right now. And there's all sorts of things the multi-engine can do, including user-made content, noise, and this interesting FM engine, or that's sort of like a simplified FM engine that's built into this. But anyways, let's listen to how the sawtooth sounds. I love this little OLED oscilloscope here. I don't really know how useful it is, but it's a nice touch. So I've noticed that in the middle range here, that sounds pretty normal here. There's a little honkiness here and a lot of honky. Can you hear that? Like in that range right there. And it kind of goes away right there down at the bottom. But up here, it sounds like there might be a little bit of like some sort of noise in there or something. But anyways, what's interesting about this sound is it's pretty bright, but it's got a strong low mid and a little bit of like a kind of a scoop thing in the upper mids, like around 2K. Like you can almost hear there's a little bit of something missing. Anyways, so then we've got triangle. This is a 3-way switch. So we're gonna go triangle. Sounds like a triangle. And square wave. Pretty dark in the low register compared to the sawtooth. See how much like buzzier, brighter that is? It's actually kind of dark all the way up. Again, compared to the sawtooth here. I don't know, maybe I'm hearing things. Anyways, what's cool is each one of these oscillators has a shape knob too, right here, which allows you to sort of, I believe, fold the wave is the correct way to say it. It's not blending between, say, sawtooth and square wave like you might get in a sequential synth. So let's listen to how this sounds. So it sounds kind of like pulse width modulation. I don't know if that's accurate on the sawtooth. Okay, so if you listen to this, and then we go back to the square wave and we turn the shape down and we go an octave lower, it sounds very similar to a square wave up an octave when you move the sawtooth. So, I don't know. Interesting. Okay, so let's listen to the triangle and how the shape knob affects that. Can you hear how there's like some grainy distortion there on one of those voices? It's kind of drifting in and out, a little bit of noise there. I don't know what that is, but anyways. So you can definitely see if you look on the OLED here, I don't know how well you guys can see that. It's like bringing in it's almost like a hard synced saw there, but I believe that is a folded wave. All right, so let's look at the square. So that's a square. And this is pulse width modulation. And we could go all the way to 0, which is a thing that a lot of people complain about if you can't. So the point here is that if you, jumping ahead, assign an LFO to this, you can get some rhythmic stuff. Wow, I'm really fascinated by how Sometimes you get a note. Wow, I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's an issue or what, or if that's just an analog synth, right? You know, like it's alive. It's gonna do kind of what it wants. I'm gonna kind of glance over the multi-engine because it's really deep. There's just the noise is interesting enough, but anyway, so right now, if I'm gonna turn down, we have a mixer section of the voices, or the oscillators. So I'm gonna turn up the multi-engine, and we have noise. And a shape knob here. This is digital noise. Oh, okay, so we can high pass stuff. Really cool. All right, peak. So it's like a bandpass sort of noise. Decimated, probably. Yeah, so it's bit crushing or decimating it. All right. Okay, so we've got those 5 types. And then what else do we have? We have VPN. This is the sort of the FM engine. So when I first was looking at this synth, I thought, okay, it's FM, and as you turn the knob, whoopsie daisy, you get single oscillator, you know, like it's a single oscillator FM wavetable. And you can see how that's affecting the sound there. But there's actually a way to go in here, and this is the first time I've ever touched the synth, so I'm learning this too, but there's a way to go in here. It's actually deeper than that. Like you can change the ratios and stuff. So it is actually doing FM synthesis. It's not just a wavetable. But anyways, let's just go through these real quick. So this is sine 1, sine 2, different ratio. I think a ratio of 2, right? Sine ratio 4. Interesting. There. Okay, this is the same thing, but using FM, but using SAW as a carrier. Interesting. Wow, okay. SAW 2. Like I said, there's actually more parameters hidden in here, but just for now, this is worthwhile. Square 2. All right, fat 1. Oh, okay, that one I'd be interested to hear what the different ratio would sound like. Wow, that is dope. Okay, air 1, so this is using noise in there, which you can control the amount of noise somewhere in the menu. Can you tell I haven't read the manual? Air 2. Useful for making like blown, like fluty type sounds. Decay 1. Oh, you can hear that it's actually decaying. And that's another thing, that there's an additional, I'm jumping ahead here, but there's an additional attack decay envelope for the volume actually hidden in this menu too. So like I said, this really gets deep just with the VPN, which is for variable phase modulation, which is FM. So that one's actually fall, so I wonder if it... So you can see it's actually like the attack is built in there. And we got creep. Whoa. So it's doing its own thing without me even touching the shape knob. Really intense shit. So this one kind of sounds like hard synced. Jesus. Okay, so there's a lot in there. So anyways, let's turn the multi off for now, because that's like its own whole fucking world that I'm not ready to commit to yet. And let's turn up the second oscillator. and we can detune it. And if we hold shift, we can actually tune this up by notes. So if I tune it up to 7, this should be a 5th. Which is pretty cool, but I'm fine with just, right now, just... Alright, so... Some nice natural chorusing. That's that purr. Daddy loves the purr. So up here, that's really auto-tune sounding. Just a little bit of motion is nice. It's so, that OLED is just so good. Let's listen to what the filter sounds like. So just on one note here, or I'll turn down VCO2 for now. Okay, so interestingly, even all the way down, it's definitely still letting some of the note through. It's a very gentle 12 dB filter. All right, let's try the resonance and put it up maybe a third of the way. So that's, I'll do just a sweep. No resonance. Half resonance. Sounds really nice, actually. I guess it's the whole analog thing, right? No stepping, unlike a Prophet 6 or a Rev 2. Let's go all the way up. Or, yeah, I guess all the way up. Fuck it. Rip subwoofers. Okay, so I'm going to turn that kind of just... I actually really love this. So I'm used to working in soft synths, and soft synths, the resonance is always so harsh. And in this, it's just really gentle, musical. I'm really excited to play around with this. So if I play a chord, we have a drive switch that can be off where it is currently, or 50%. So it's a little bit of drive, but not terrible. And then all the way to 100%. Interesting, you definitely lose a lot of the body. All right, so let's just try it without the, okay, so off sounds like a synth. 50%, you definitely get more of like a low mid push. And it gets actually very dark. I wonder if there's any like low passing going on or something like that to help keep it from getting crazy. Because normally when I think of drive, I think it's adding upper harmonics, right? So this is an interesting color knob. But anyways, if we turn the resonance up and... I mean, it just sounds really good. And then we have a low cut, so I'll play... Why don't we play down here? Kind of a bassy sound. And let's see if the low cut will cut out this low note. Oh yeah, it does. So instead of having a dedicated high pass filter, which would have been great, it's just got a low cut knob. Oh, I've been noticing that, I just noticed the low frequency compressor's been on this whole time, so I'm gonna shut that off for now. We'll get to that. So that's doing quite a bit. Interesting. Yeah, that takes a lot of the low end out, which I don't mind because honestly, for me, most of the time in a mix, I need more of the low end out of there than most people think. You listen to sound on its own, it sounds really thin. Then you put it in a mix and it sounds, you know, spot on. So anyways, let's forget about the filter for a second. We've got the amp envelope generator, so this should work how you would think it would. So right now, sustain all the way up. If I turn the sustain down and the attack, I should be able to get this to get pretty tight. So that's already pretty tight at, I don't know, 30%. You can get this, I mean, you're hearing the keyboard noise here. That is very tight, and I'm not all the way down yet. That's all the way down, it's just the little, doesn't even show up on the oscilloscope. All right, so all the way up, let's see how long. That is an incredibly long decay. So that's amazing, I love that. So if we had some sustain in here and we were to, let's go. I usually like something like that. So we've got a sound that, but let's turn up the release. It's beautiful. Okay, really cool. Now what we can do is actually apply the envelope generator to the cutoff. I think that's how this works. All right, so now as I turn it up, whoa. See if I add some release there. Okay, so that's kind of the typical, you know, brassier type thing. Right. All right, and if I turn the attack all the way down, I should be able to get something more like a pluck sound, hopefully. You're gonna get pretty... It's actually amazing how far you can take this resonance before it gets annoying. It's a pretty good amount of resonance, and it's still really not too grating on the ears. I'm still with one voice, so if I turn the second oscillator up, we can get some good chorusing. Sounds really good. Okay, so then we have the LFO. The big complaint that a lot of people have, there seems to be two that really stand out. One is the keyboard doesn't have aftertouch. I don't really use aftertouch that much, although I do think it would be cool to have. And when you spend $1,500 on a synth, you'd like it to not have any limitations. But easily the biggest thing to me that seems like a major error is to just have one LFO. And in fact, not even a second envelope generator. So if you want the filter to be doing something, the pitch is going to have to follow that if you use the envelope generator. Perhaps that's what the negative amount is for, so you can set the filter against that, depending on what you're doing. I missed this earlier, but just going, let's turn this all the way up and turn the... Sounds really lush for just two voices. I think it sounds quite nice. But there's a whole cross mod section here too. So I can hard sync the first oscillator. So let's try that out. I feel like, oh, maybe I need to go up an octave. So that's pretty cool. Neat. And then we also have a ring modulator. Wow, you get this. Oh, that's okay. So that's FM. Yeah. So I just wanted to show that real quick. Anyways, let's go to the LFO. So we've got, let's right now set it to the cutoff. So I'm going to add some resonance here and see what happens. Nothing. There we go. I had to hit the mount knob here. Really fun to watch the OLED here. So we have vibrato, basically. You can get pretty crazy with it. And we've got, you can select which wave you want to use. So right now, if I set it to triangle, that's probably the default. This is, if you want to do a ramp, which would be good. And I think if you set it to shift that, it'll go up. Maybe not. We'll have to figure that out. And we got square too. That's kind of cool. I wonder if you can set this to... Trying to find where it's about an octave. Somewhere like in there. Anyway, so we can go into fast, which will allow us to go into the audio rate range here. Which allows us to get this like type of sound. It's difficult to do this with software. So you get these really atonal sorts of sounds, but you know, people love that shit. We can control the shape here with these same knobs. Oh, and there's a BPM mode, so that's just the same stuff, but on BPM. So the triangle on the shape of, I think right now, I haven't even gotten into how to use the menu at all yet, so we'll just bear with me here. All right. So we control the shape. Okay, so if we put this into square for both of these, we control the pulse width. Right, so that's that typical sort of Juno sound, right? And if we go all the way up, we get that, what I was talking about earlier, which is that you get the, all the way to 0, so you can get the rhythmic. But if we turn that down... we have these really awesome lead type sounds. So we could go... Now what you can do is you can send the shape to control only one of the shape knobs, or 2 of the 3, depending on how you want to set it up. But the disappointing thing is if you wanted to, say, do a ramp on the cutoff, so let's do that real quick. So I'll set that to ramp, BPM mode for the fun of it, and go. So if we wanted to do that sort of a thing, like a rhythmic-y, like that, that's kind of a cool thing that we could set up to do a rhythmic sort of sound. But now, if we wanted to control the shape, well, we're kind of out of luck. Now let's listen to some of the effects that we have. So we have this modulation effect. So if I put it to on, you'll see it says chorus. It flashed chorus for a second. So let's just hear what that sounds like. Whoa, shit. That was the... And then you just press this knob up one, and it'll change what the effect is. So that was in Ensemble. We can control the depth. It's weird, interesting shape to that. But you get really slow too. Okay, anyways. Phaser. It's actually quite subtle. Also very stereo. Okay, so Flanger, cool. Quite beautiful. Delay. And do we get a different type of delay? How do we... I guess I'm gonna have to bust the fucking manual out. So I wish there was a knob here that just like this had mod select. So just the basic reverb. Does sound really good. All right. Oh, fuck. Time to get the fucking manual out. Okay. Let's go. Look at this motherfucker. Using the delay reverb switch, the delay and reverb effects can be selected. Thank you. The time and tone feedback knobs can be used to affect each effect. I got a time and a depth knob, bitch. Oh yeah, this isn't gonna help at all. Okay, so this is trash as far as helping me out. Time to go on the internet. Oh God, this is fucking confusing. Okay, so while the select knob up here moves you through the different things that they have, including you could put your own user stuff in here. This is separate, so let me see. No, that's not the right button. Well, that wasn't what I wanted to do either. So, although nearly all of the Prologue's main parameters can be edited using the knobs and switches on the panel, other detailed parameters are accessed using the edit mode. There are 3 sub modes within the edit mode: program edit mode, function mode, and global edit mode. I'm already mad. Just like with the FM here, there's room practically for one more knob here, so you could have a ratio and a depth knob. Like, that would be so simple to have there. Over here by reverb, there could just easily be a knob that sets the type of reverb or sets the type of delay. Okay, so I guess the way this works is you hit edit mode, and that kind of puts you into this mode where you can get into the deeper functions of what's going on. Button 1 here is category sort, so just don't ever press that, okay? Button 2 is if you want to change the program name. 3 is for the multi-timbral stuff, so you could set a split, so you could have one sound on this side of the keyboard, one on the other, because this is a bitimbral synth. 4 is the mod wheel assign and the pedal assign and the range on the pitch bend. So I guess you could go in here and, so let's try that real quick. That's button 4. Okay, so mod wheel assign is, does this change it? Okay. Oh, so you can just go through and mod wheel assign the LFO intensity, I guess, right now. So let's just check that, make sure I'm understanding this. Okay, that is how that works. But we could set this to mod effects depth. Interesting. If there's something on. Delay reverb time, gate time. Oh, there's all sorts of shit. Wow. Okay, so what else can we do? The pitch range on the bend. So right now it's probably 2 semitones. Let's turn this up. Yeah, it sounds like 2. So if I hit this again, 2 notes, negative 2 notes. Let's say I wanted to change that to, oh, it's at least it's not that hard to get in here. So like sometimes I like setting the pitch bend to 12 or 7. So if you go for 7, so let's go to 7 here and we'll kick on some delay. So for like leads, it can be kind of fun to be able to go and do this type of thing, like. It's beautiful. If you set it to, and you've got a lot of, wow, that depth is crazy on that. Mod wheel, button 5 is modulation. So if we go over here, we can get it to target all the oscillators. So in this case, for instance, if we're controlling the pitch, if we add a wiggle, right? Vibrato. Wow, that's pretty powerful. But what we could do is we could set it to just VCO 1 and 2, which is the same thing right now. But maybe just VCO 2, right? So that's kind of a cool way to get a different kind of detuned sound where even if I like try to get the tuning really tight here. So one of them straight down the middle. So that's a way you could do that. If I do that to the cutoff, in theory, that would mean one of the... No, I was thinking that maybe it would affect only VCO 2, but it seems to be affecting both, whatever the filter is. Oh, interesting though, but I mean, on the if it's set to cutoff, this doesn't seem to do anything. That's so lame. I would love to be able to, again, like this is just like the sort of limitation you get with this, is that you're kind of going to be stuck getting a certain kind of sound, whatever it's going to be that this thing tells you to do. So anyways, that's a way to control the modulation that way. What else do we have? We've got velocity control here and amp velocity. So turn this all the way up, see what happens. We're all the way up. Wish there was a way you could scroll this quickly. So if I try to go really soft. So that's quite a lot of velocity that you get there. So that's, I love that on patches, you know, being able to do that. And in Omnisphere, I'm often, you know, turning that off actually, just because I end up feeling I need to run a compressor afterwards, which is, you know, kind of defeats the purpose. Okay, so effects, chorus type. Oh, we've got all of these different types of choruses. Jesus Christ. Wow. So we have different, we could have a mono ensemble type. This one's, it's an orange phaser. That sounds great. Oh, very bright. Small and resonant. Black. Wow. Very notchy sounding. Formant. Oh, wow. What the fuck? Well, it is awesome. And you've got all of this here too. Wow. I hope you guys could see. Oh, you can't really see on the screen. There's just tri-phase, mono sweep, mid sweep, high sweep, light. There's all of these different. Okay, anyway, so if I go to reverb here. Oh, wait. How do I get there? Okay, so let's go to, what do I do? What do I hit? What do I fucking hit? 8 again. Reverb type. Oh, okay, finally. Okay, so we're gonna shut this off. We've got my just sort of whatever, and we got a hall on, right? So very diffused. Oh, all of these, one thing to be said is these fucking effects sound just so good. That was kind of what sold me on this synth. So that's the hall. This is smooth. Really beautiful. Plenty of clarity in the upper range without sounding fake. Arena. A little longer, maybe. Damp, but not as damp as I think is Hall. This is Hall. Similar to that, little bit more echoey. Plate. We all know that sound. Room. Very, very dampened early reflections. Oh, interesting. So if you turn the time down, get these like metallic, but that's probably with the depth all the way up too. Wow. So you kind of want to have a good amount, because anywhere down here it sounds pretty bad. And by bad I mean that might be what you want. That sort of almost like the resonator effect in Omnisphere. Right, something like that. Okay, let's go to space. Haha, bitches. That's always going to be fun. But if you turn the time down, you get longer than the previous stuff. Oh, there's a lot of modulation in the depth there, so maybe turn that down. There's still quite a lot of modulation in that. Oh, I get it. Wow, that is very seasick modulation. No, it's not. I mean, it's not necessarily a bad thing. The depth is the mix knob. I'm an idiot. All right, riser. The shimmer effect that everybody loves. So you don't need a Big Sky or Valhalla shimmer here. Goes up. All right, then we've got submarine, which I believe is the opposite. So you can hear that actually descends. That's pretty amazing. Horror. Whoa! I don't know if that's like the feedback has a pitch but set to a third or something in there. Some weird frequency. Maybe some sort of random pitch modulation in there. I mean, it's not bad sounding for certain types of things, especially if, you know, to go down here and... Useful for soundscapes, dark ambient music. Okay, so we got all these different types. It's just, it's overwhelming. Okay, so then we go to delay type. Okay, so let's turn that. Okay, so I guess the depth knob, if I'm all the way off, I got nothing. Good. Delay, we've got stereo. Is that stereo? Seems pretty mono to me. I guess there's some amount of detune or delay shift between the two taps. Mono. Okay, yeah, that's definitely mono as compared to stereo. Okay, I get it. Yeah, I can hear it better there, but it's not ping pong, which is what I just selected. All right, that's the fun one, of course, you know, so cool. Everybody loves that. High pass. And just like the shimmer effects, where what's happening is every time the feedback passes through again, it gets higher and higher. This time you can hear that the same thing's happening with the high pass. So it gets higher and higher passed. Tape. Oh, this one's gonna get some use. So it seems just a stereo, but with some grit. One tap. That's useful if you tighten it up. Go even tighter. It's like a, oh, you can control the pitch here. Yeah, something like that. So if I turn the attack envelope down real quick, what I've got is like a slapback. And I can control. So by dialing it in tight time, tight depth, you can get like a way to sort of get some space that's tight instead of like a big slappy reverb. Stereo BPM. So this should just be just the same thing, but in BPM mode. Mono BPM. All the same stuff. Okay, oh, you can really hear, wait, listen to the warble on that. You can hear it towards the end there, like you get a real nice little wow and flutter to that. That's beautiful. Doubling? Oh, so that's the slapback effect I was going for. Oh no, but it has feedback to it. It almost feels like the depth knob is adding more feedback too. Oh, you can get almost like fake reverbs here. Other than the kind of obnoxious warbliness, to me, that's actually a more convincing tight room sound. Like you're in a, you know, like a tiled bathroom playing the synthesizer. So I guess it's not that bad because you could just go, okay, so exit, I'm out of the motherfucker. If I just go edit mode, oof, that didn't work. Edit mode, function, program edit, effects, and I go to, fuck, I thought I had this. Okay, reverb type, and I can change it here. So if I want to go to riser. So now I can control that, and that's pretty cool. I'm all cool with that. And what I want to do is play with this low frequency compressor. So once I kick this on, as I increase this, you can really get that. So that's no low frequency compressor, and this with the gain all the way up. Hopefully that's not just, I have headphones on, so I don't know if it's destroying everybody's subwoofer. So if without the drive on, you can, these things do come out of tune somewhat. You definitely get some of that. Pretty badass sounding. I don't really know if I'd use it for anything unless I want it maybe to be a bass sound. It's a way to add bass though that's controlled, so you don't get this crazy, you know, because this thing is wild. It's a wild bitch where it's just doing its thing. So I could definitely see how just adding like a girth knob where you just crank it and you're just basically shelving up everything 200 and below wouldn't work out well because you just get so much fluctuation down there that you'd do a lot of damage to the subwoofers. So by compressing it with this analog low frequency compressor, it's pretty cool for bass. But I mean, on a sound like up here where I'm... Maybe it's useful. I don't know. It's hard for me to tell with these headphones on because my perception of bass isn't the same as when I can feel that, shaking the room. Okay, so if I go to, what is this? Button 7, we're in the multi-engine and it says feedback 0%. So if I increase this, should be able to get noise at some point. Yeah. So this is what I meant by that the FM engine is actually much more than I thought it was when I was interested in getting this because I wanted to have wavetable support. But this is actually an entire synth engine in here that's kind of like a little mini DX7 or FM8. Well, you can go negative to the feedback. Okay, so if I go hit that again, noise depth. Oh, it does add noise. So where you basically can't hear that anymore. So the old, for those of you who don't know, the Yamaha DX7, to get the noisy type sounds, actually used feedback and feeding back into itself until you lose the fundamental and it sounds like noise. Here you actually can add noise, I guess. Shape mod. What does this do? Shape mod intensity, okay. Okay, so it's on the attack, you get like a... Okay, interesting. What else do we have? So we've got mod attack. Oh, so we could add the attack here. So this should add where it'll start on a sine wave, go up and then down, hopefully. Maybe not. How do I get the ADSR to work? Okay, so decay. Oh, I get it. I'm so stupid. Okay. So shape mod intensity. So if I have the shape all the way down, I've got a sine wave. As I add this is adding the ADSR. I don't feel like it should say like shape mod ADSR intensity. So I could get the... And then as I go, so if I go to attack, that's... I really want the decay to come down here, so... Okay, so if I go shape all the way up, and I go... Oof, my brain. Mod attack negative? What the fuck? There we go. Okay, so mod attack negative 100, but with full intensity. Sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down. What? Oh my god, my pathetic brain can't handle this. So anyways, let's exit this and we can just try some patches out real quick. Obviously the Vangelis sound. Let's see June pad. Let's see what we have here. Beautiful. In my dream. Must be using that twinkle phaser. Solid bass. Oof. And that's without the low frequency gain compressor. So as far as I'm aware, this low frequency gain compressor never goes on. So this is without it. Jesus Christ, I can feel my the speakers in my headphones rattling. Self osc lead. Okay, so that's an interesting function here. I didn't go over it, but you can actually get the cutoff to oscillate and then key track that so that it actually follows the pitch of the keyboard. So if I'm correct, we're not listening to any of the VCOs, we're actually just listening to the filter oscillate here. Really cool. So there's actually a bunch of different voice modes. Right now I'm on poly mode. So right now we're just listening to VCOs 1 and 2. I'll add some reverb. Cool. And what we can do now is select the different modes, and then there's a different amount of voice spread. We can add portamento. So let's try voice spread first in poly mode. Okay, so what this is doing is interesting because it's not, I was expecting it to go left, right, left, right. But if you're listening in headphones or you have good speakers, you can hear that it's actually just kind of picking random points, which I prefer over just left, right, left, right. There's times where left, right is a lot of fun. But what it's doing is just picking different points in the stereo spread. But then we also have this voice mode depth. So all the way down, that's I think what it defaults in. But as we increase this, you can see it says duo right here. So what we're doing is actually creating, now we're running 4 oscillators in duophonic mode. So what that means is slaving the filter of 2 of them together. So we can actually get pretty good supersaw sounds, 4 oscillator supersaws. Okay, so for those of you coming from soft synth land like I did, I took unison and polyphony for granted because in a computer, you can have as many oscillators running as your CPU can handle. But in an analog synth, polyphony and unison is very costly. So the fact that this thing has 16 voices is actually like crazy. So we can get these really detuned type sounds that would really be only available to, you know, the digital world. And this is just analog detuned, and we have enough voices that there's no voice stealing. So no like you play one note and it cuts off the other sort of a thing. It's just crazy. And if we do this with the voice spread, we could get some pretty, we'll see what happens. Pretty sick. Then we also have mono mode. So what this does is adds a lower octave to whatever's going on in what you're doing, so it borrows voices. So you can get these crazy bass sounds. Wow, it's just destroyed down there. Jesus Christ. And of course, you can spread that too, so. Oh, God damn it, that's beautiful. Just crazy. Okay, so then we have unison mode. What that does is it allows you to actually have all 16 voices stacked to one note. So let's turn the release down for this one. So if you turn this all the way up, you have like the craziest Hoover sound. were to use the high pass noise here, and finally you have chord mode, and this will just let you have different chords off of one note, so you can go, and it goes, so we got a sus2, minor, major, for those types of sounds if you like those, sus4, minor 7th. All right, and let's just play some more patches while we're here. Harp-like. This one's called Cinematica. I think that's using some sort of portamento, polyportamento. Fantasia, I wonder if this is a take on Eric Persing's patch. It reminds me a bit of that patch, doesn't it, from the D50? Tri-sync? That's a lot of hard sync. Symbol square? Oh yeah. Really just useful, beautiful sounding with a little bit of reverb. Soft brass. Okay, so OB brass, obviously, Oberheim's. So that's just a really quick overview of what can be done here, and I feel like I've barely even had time to scratch the surface of this guy. And there's all sorts of stuff I didn't even mention, like for instance the fact that you can do bitimbral stuff, like have two different sounds layered, so for instance like a pad and an arpeggiator at the same time. It's just pretty deep, considering it's only got the one LFO and the one envelope generator other than the amp envelope generator. There seems to be a pretty good amount of stuff to get interested in and have fun with. So I hope that was informative. Let me know in the comments if there's anything you'd like me to answer for you in future videos. Next week I'm going to be doing a video comparing the KORG Prologue to all of the other hardware synths in the market that I think are kind of in the same price range or compelling competitors, and asking the question, is the KORG Prologue even worth it? So anyways, like the video and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.